This September at HMP, we're going to space. Welcome to Half-Ass Movie Podcast. Welcome back, you dirty babies. It's time for another Half-Ass Movie Podcast, a show where we put together a half-ass theme as an excuse to watch movies. My name is Adam Portress, and welcome to Sean Love Spaceships Month. And finally joining us, it's its namesake, Sweet Sean Kovacs from the internet.
Am I getting the face right?
You got it.
And he knows that space healthcare looks just like Earth does. Bruce Leslie.
Oh, ain't it too true, brother? Ain't it too true? How you doing, everyone?
That's the one thing I remember when I was the only one this week that had seen this movie previously. And that was the one thing that I remembered about this movie while watching it was like going, this just looks like a hospital. We are in a spaceship, but it's the least spaceshipy looking hospital you've ever seen in maybe any spaceship movie ever.
You had showed us your hand a little bit when you were describing this movie the first time you were talking about it, where you're like, that's what a spaceship looks like to you. And I was like, okay, so that's where we're headed. Okay, I get it. I got a real question for you guys though. Where do I get one of them bang boxes? Where'd I get one of them boys?
The dark web, man. They got everything there.
I need one of them. I need one of them bang boxes.
Which reminds us that today's episode is brought to you by Adam and Eve. If you go to adamandeve.com/HMP.
At Adam and Eve.
You know what's bizarre is the second I said that, our viewer count quadrupled. I'm not even kidding you. I don't know why that is, but all of a sudden the view count went whoop.
I'll never forget what my grandpa told me. Any box is a bang box if you're randy enough.
Desperate enough. Well, before we get into all of our stuff here, like I said, we are back to Sean Love Spaceships Month. Sean, you missed out on last week's fun here and everything, but
I did.
Give us your quick review here because people were curious.
I do have some notes.
Oh,
on your two on the two of you guys' performance.
Great! I didn't know we were getting grades.
Yeah. One. Bruce, you are. It's very telling that when the whole Sean Love Spaceships thing comes up and the head comes up and comes out. First of all, before I start handing out the merits, I do have to say this. I have never been more flattered in my entire life. Like I saw that exactly at the moment where I needed it. And I was like, oh man, look what Portress did for me. That guy's my friend. I know that guy is my friend. So thank you for that, Portress. Seriously,
absolutely.
I needed it. Literally, I got it at the perfect time. So thank you for that. But
that is a last minute version where I put in extra eyelashes. I don't know if you can really see that, but on the first V1 version, didn't have enough eyelashes for my take, so I threw in a little bit extra because I thought it warranted it.
I have been asked many a time if I wear eyeshadow, and I don't. No eyeshadow. This is for real.
It's eyeliner. It's different.
This is all for real, boys. It's all for real. But I found it very telling that after the big reveal comes up, my head comes out of space and it comes down. First of all, Bruce was like, "That's awesome. That's so great." And that part was really cool. But then Bruce, the next moment, betrays himself where he's like, "I can't wait to see what mine's gonna look like during October." It's literally the next line he says.
Why not give him as much notice as necessary to satisfy him?
He's laying it out for his Christmas gifts real early, just to let you know.
It was literally like when you're at a birthday party when you're a little kid and some other kid at the birthday party starts crying because he realizes that none of these presents are for him. Like it was kind of like that a little bit. Okay, that is number one. Number two, listen, we've all been to conventions. Everybody who's watching this, everybody who's listening to this, everyone's been to a convention. And yes, you should tell a story or two. I stopped counting after 7 stories of you guys at different conventions. Maybe pull back on the convention stories a little bit next time.
All right.
Okay. Number 3, I thought that it was interesting that your take on Galaxy Quest, you two guys your big take on Galaxy Quest is, hey, this is pretty good. So that was an interesting take from the both of you boys.
Oh, did you want more of the Kermit the Frog hands in the air kind of? Was that more of the...
No, just have a take on a movie, guys. It's why we do this thing.
Okay. What harder takes?
Not harder. Just have a take.
This Tim Allen son of a bitch has got some nerves.
I mean, literally last week it was like, hey, you know what? This is surprisingly good. This is surprisingly good. Yes, we all know. It's one of the best comedies ever made.
That's fair. I should read. If I could go back in time, I would say it's kind of my big hot take is Enrico looks better with hair.
That is a take.
You know,
that's a take.
It's defined his entire career, the baldness and everything, and he's leaned into it quite well, and it's done good for him. But I'm not going to lie, a little more handsome with hair.
Yeah, agreed.
Now the voice obviously betrays everything, but what are you going to do?
And you know, like it's kind of hard to believe that that's Veronica Mars' dad, because I watch Veronica Mars and he is like the most straight-laced dude in the world in that, and he's like always the voice of reason because there's so much like teenage angst on that show. And then he just shows up and he's like, no, listen, I've taught you well. And it's like, wow, that's the same guy.
I totally forgot he was in that.
He's Veronica Mars' dad.
Well, let's get, but before we get into everything, we're going to get into, today's movie is High Life from 2018. Like I'd said previously, I got into this movie in 2018 because the Charlotte Film Society was kind of in the middle of something. The Manor itself, which was their little 2-screen independent theater and everything, got shut down and everything. So that sucked. So they were looking for a home and nobody would house the Charlotte Film Society. So they ended up going to a art gallery and everything, setting up a giant projector and big sound system and everything. And for a good, I'd say 6 months, they would run movies out there 2-3 times a week and everything, and very well attended. So much so that even like on Valentine's Day, like that was well attended. It was like there was a lot of great stuff, and one of those movies was High Life. I didn't know too much about it outside of Robert Pattinson, so I was like, let's check this out. And when we were talking about Sean Love Spaceships Month and everything, I figured, hey, let's do this one because I know very few people that have seen this. I hardly remembered anything about it because, like I said, it was 2018. That's been some time now. Yeah. So I was like, and that was the one time that I had seen it was, you know, kind of literally projected on a white wall and everything. So I was like, you know what? I'm probably going to hear a lot better sound and a lot better picture this time than I had previously. So that should be a good time. But yeah, I was going in essentially kind of blind to everything. But yeah. We'll
so can I ask you something? And is it something where when you saw this, because the experience of that really kind of like cemented in your mind that like your enjoyment of this film, and has that changed since you watched it this week?
It's different. I like I said, I barely remember anything that first time. I think I remember most of the first kind of half of the movie and everything, especially with the baby. I think post that it was a little bit cloudy for me. No, I was just like, I don't even think I remember the box. You know what I mean? Because you would think you would remember that quite.
You talking about that their bang box?
Yeah, the bang box there. You figure you would remember that vividly, but not nearly as much as I had remembered. I was just like, oh, and at the same time too, there was part of me, of course, while we're watching this, going like, oh, I made the fellas watch this, didn't I? Well, here we are.
Well, you know, it's funny, man, because like I remember you telling me how you first saw this movie, but I didn't remember it till like 3/4 of the way through the film, because when I'm watching it, I was literally like, this is the Frenchest sci-fi movie I've ever seen in my life. This is the most French sci-fi movie I've ever seen. And I was like, I know that Portress is French Canadian, but it doesn't make him tilt to more French fare. Like he like, I know that you don't besmirch a foreign film, nor should you. But like, I was like, does he lean towards French? And I had to like have that conversation with myself, because good Lord knows I had time to think.
No,
and
there's no like 400 blows or anything else like that. I think Truffaut's like wild overrated and things like that. So no, that's not normally my purview.
Seeing that Portress, that's a take. Okay, keep going.
No, that's all I had. Is like that's not normally no, that
Well,
again, this was just kind of like, to me, the idea of this and the reason why I kind of wanted to put it in was like, essentially what is that this is a sci-fi movie that does not look like 99% of the sci-fi movies
No.
that you're going to see. It
No.
doesn't feel and act like most of any sci-fi movie that you've ever seen. There are a lot of different ways that you could go through and read this movie, but yeah, it's a slow ticking movie. It takes a long time to get to where it goes and everything. And like I said, I don't remember much of that. I do remember it taking a while in the theater. Now maybe it was certainly that coming back to us. We'll get into all of it, but yeah, I think that's ultimately it was just kind of it was out of the box as far as spaceship movies go.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I kind of wanted to lean in, because certainly this is nothing else even remotely close to what we'll be doing for the rest of the month.
No, not even close. But that's kind of what, like, charm is the wrong word, but it's kind of what makes it stand out from the rest of what we're about to see and what you guys watched last week. Is that there's kind of a, to steal Bruce Leslie's line here. There is a can-do attitude about this movie that I found interesting. I think it's an interesting movie. I can totally see, and please, if you've never seen this movie and you're watching this, it's probably not for you. Like, this is not what that movie is. This movie, there is so much about this film that it just, like, it is on purpose to make you mad. A lot of things in this film. And that the director, I've never seen her anything else she's done. Have you? Have either of you?
Not to my recollection, no.
And so it made me at least want to watch another one of her films, because she seems like she's a provocateur, and I don't mean that in a sexual manner, even though, good Lord, there's plenty of that in this movie. But like, it feels like she's trying to get a reaction out of her audience, good, bad, or otherwise, as long as you're not walking out indifferent. And this isn't the kind of movie where you just forget everything. It's weird that you have, Portress, because like this movie is sort of seared into my brain with certain moments in this thing.
Yeah,
like,
it was definitely more impactful now. Again, I also likened that, or that reasoning, because of venue change and everything, for sure.
Right. And the experience of watching this, if you're in the right setting and you're with a bunch of like-minded, art kids watching this movie, I could totally see where you'd be like, well, that was an interesting film. But when you're just watching something on your own and this is the movie, I could totally see where people are getting angry, because I looked at the IMDb user reviews for this, and boy, this upsets some people, this movie.
It is slower. It's very deliberate in its pace and everything, and it's quiet and soothing in a lot of ways. So you could easily fall asleep while watching this movie, because there are just nice kind of droning sort of sounds here and everything, as one might suspect in a spaceship and whatnot. A lot of like long time lapses with no dialogue or anything like that. So it's bound to happen.
Yeah. What were you trying to say, Bruce?
I was going to say it's, I don't know, it's kind of like a mixed bag. It's something you wouldn't want to watch while you were driving, because it might put you to sleep. However, it wouldn't distract you from the road either.
Also true.
I'm just going to go ahead and say my first take on this movie is that I'm not a fan of this type of movie. So I want to say that, because when I say some negative things about this movie, it's really going to be just because I don't particularly enjoy French boomer cinema. And this isn't just French cinema. It's like the boomer French cinema. It's, it's not like the older or newer stuff. It's a very specific time there where it seemed like the focus was no story almost. And it's about human ennui, if I'm pronouncing that French word correctly.
Ennui.
Ennui. And the misery of human existence and that sort of thing. This is the kind of stuff that inspired more current French makers. Like, isn't Gaspar Noé French?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was French. So, you can see where that would inspire someone like that, but his has a little more edge to it. It gets a little bit more speculative and surreal, which is strange. That's something that's all about traveling through space with relativistic time differences and all that it has so little stretching of any boundaries in other ways. You know, it just didn't work for me at all as a sci-fi movie. And if I were approaching it as French cinema, well, then it's not something I'm probably going to like. Not since that long have I been a big fan of it.
I like how that's your reference point. That's awesome. Let's get into it. Here is the IMDb plot line for High Life. As we know, IMDb always 100% correct in everything they say and or do. A father and his daughter struggle to survive in deep space where they live in isolation. This is written... Oh, hold on. Let me make sure I got all this right. This is written by Claire Denis, Jean-Paul Fegreau, and Jeff Cox, directed by Claire Denis, starring Robert Pattinson, Juliette Binoche, Andre 3000, Mia Goth, and more. So let's kind of get into it and everything. As he says, as we've kind of yapped on it for a good bit anyways. But so, like, all right, let's start, because obviously there's going to be some complaints, and I'm fine with all of that. That's, you know, whatever. I'll have some myself as well. But let's get to a couple things that we kind of liked, and just the basic kind of story of this and the structure, because it's told differently than a lot of people would suspect, you know, your regular kind of straightforward narrative and everything.
My first thought about this is during the time where it's very important to Robert Pattinson that you do not think of him as the teenage vampire, right? Mm-hmm. And so he is going all the way the other way at this point in his career. And I found it, I found his performance interesting. And I mean that in the best way possible, because he's not overly dramatic in this, and I can't tell if that's all him or if that's the director, like putting bumpers on the sides for him while he's bowling, because it's like he's not overdoing anything. Like, there's not a single moment in this movie where I'm like, oh, well, this is him trying to be a badass right now, or this is him trying to show everybody just how adult he is. Like, there's none of
he's
that
not trying to be the
performance.
Marvel superhero character,
Right.
or anything in this. He is just kind of a very straightforward, I'm just this dude kind of thing. Never a superhero.
I liked his performance personally. It was one of the things that worked best about this movie. Is I kind of liked a bit of the blankness, the emptiness, the mystery. You get the idea. He was an orphan from the future, when the future's not so grand. You know, you hear a little drop thing about he was raised by a dog. Later on, you hear that he got in trouble because he killed his friend over a dog. And you know what? Well, that's going to be that same dog. Yeah. And they don't, you know, spoon feed you that. But I liked his performance. It kind of communicated to me this person who's sort of a blank, you know, that you can see a lot of different points of view, can see through him. So that was one of the better things about it. I did like that performance.
You know, it's generally the way that I always look at something like this is like, you know, when you're trying to break out of the thing that you are best known for, I always think of Jim Carrey when it comes to this, because Jim Carrey, when he decides he's going to be dramatic, he's going to be a capital D dramatic actor, he goes all in all the time, where it's almost like a joke how overly dramatic he acts in things during that period. And I think that Pattinson doesn't fall into any of those. It's what I find so fascinating about the performance is he wants so desperately for you to see him as anything else other than Edward. Am I getting that right?
Yeah.
Other than Cullen. Edward. And so, and he is definitely, that has definitely happened in our timeline now of 2025. But in 2018, that was a much bigger rock to have to put over your head. And the fact that let me finish, okay, and then go to you. I think that it's a much harder thing for him as an actor to not want he could have chosen poorly as an actor 1,000 times in this role. And I don't think that he did a single time. And I think that is what makes the performance so interesting to me. I'm sorry, Fortress, go on.
No, I'm sorry. I think that like this kind of started maybe at least one more year before this, because that's when he did Good Light or Good Times with the Safdie brothers and everything.
Yeah.
So like this is that era where, like you said, he is really kind of doubling down and just goes, I'm going to give you these interesting, subtle kind of, I almost call them it, like not in the same kind of vibe, but in just the seriousness of it all, very De Niro-esque inside performances.
Oh, interesting.
Where he's just like, there's stuff that's going on behind the eyes all the time. You can see him thinking, but he doesn't look like he wants you to see him thinking. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense.
That's really good.
Yeah, I agree with what Sean just said there, that I don't think I would have identified that on my own. But as soon as you started saying that, I said, oh, well, that's so obvious now. Yeah, I love that sort of model there, because I believe every word of that. That's what he's communicating to me that I like in his roles.
Yeah.
And he's doing it with so many things and stuff now, and that's what's kind of been great about him, is like, even though, like, let's compare just another space movie and everything with Mickey 17, which is interesting, by the way. Check this out, right? Because the original title for Mickey 17 was Mickey 7,
right,
which was the comic or whatever that was based upon. No, there you go. But in this one, they have the 7 on their suits and everything, so I thought that was just kind of a fun little.
Well, I know this. I know why everybody's got the 7 patch on their uniforms. It's because they are one of multiple ships that set out from Earth to be spacebound, and then each one of them has a different experiment that they're doing. And
that's why when we go on to 9, it's all the dogs going insane and everything. It's like, what the hell was this experiment? We're putting dogs on the entire spaceship and sending them up there and go, yeah, it's dogs. That's what was one of the experiments, dogs. Okay.
So, Sean, you know sometimes how I pull us way off topic and then I try to pull us back on track, even though I'm the one who derailed us in the first place.
Yeah,
that's
well,
not
I want to return to your original question that I didn't answer, and that's about the non-sequential storytelling here. And I'll just add my 2 cents on that. Is I generally don't have a lot against non-sequential storytelling, but for some reason here I was a little unsettled by not knowing what was then, what was now, what was yet to be, kind of thing. And that might have been the director being effective at wanting me to feel unsettled with it, but I found it a little uncomfortable, the non-sequential style here. I felt lost at times in a way that didn't make me curious, but almost made me like annoyed.
And I think that's done purposefully. You know, like I was kind of talking about that at the beginning, that she's really just trying to get a rise out of people, it seems like. And I think that the other thing about this too is that I would be annoyed if I wasn't following it, like if I had to follow along some sort of storyline, but because there is no storyline to follow, it's just all mood.
It's discovery of what's going on, because that's the entire thing, is just trying to unweave what we see from the beginning. We're given very limited information of like, hey, here are these people, they're in space, and you're like, what's exactly going on here? How do we get to this situation where there's man and baby solely on this spaceship? And then we give hints and stuff and go back. Like, as far as structure and everything, I really enjoyed that, even though it is kind of like, it is jarring, but it also causes you to pay attention to more things. For example, one of the nice traits that you could always use there, Bruce, is his level of pie baldness, as it's actually called. We learned about this in school because some kid had it, right? So if you have like that little kind of gray spot right there or whatever kind of deal, it's called being pie bald. I don't know why that's the term, but that's what it is. But you see it kind of grow on him as the kind of age and everything. And while they don't age his face up too much, they definitely age the hair portion. So you can kind of figure out which timeline you're in by where that little spot is.
See?
I don't even think I noticed that. The lighting in this movie didn't do my contrast sensitivity any favors. So I mean, I know that it's well done lighting, but I just didn't. It was one of those that if you are watching it in a room that's not completely dark, it just turns your screen into a mirror sometimes. So I couldn't see some of the details. You know, say it's on me for my system, but it's still the experience I had.
Full light control DTS 5.1, everybody.
A little confession, I watched it while driving. That's how I know it's a good movie for that.
Oh,
for some
good.
people.
Let me tell you, when that black hole stuff comes in, baby.
But yeah, the lighting, I didn't catch on to that. But also, I just want to say, I think it's interesting that it starts out there's a man with a baby. Then later you catch on that he's a prisoner on some kind of prison ship. And I start to wonder, is he there because he killed that baby? No, someone else killed that baby and he got blamed for it. So I think there's a mystery to figure out. And I'm a little disappointed when the story is much less complex than that. Also, I was not familiar with Claire Denis. I didn't even know the director's name till it showed up on the credits. But I was thinking this is a interesting intellectual sci-fi movie. You know, maybe that baby is going to be something special. You know, we did just see the First Steps Fantastic Four with Franklin Richards. A sci-fi movie starts with a baby. That baby's either going to be a monster, a savior, or which one, just depends on who raises it. Or maybe it's Anakin and we've got a big trilogy ahead of us. I don't know. But I was a little bit disappointed when the baby was kind of normal.
Yeah, but here's the thing though, like to that degree though, they don't know that, like, they haven't had a successful, pregnancy or anything in space that's yet to have been done at this point. So you don't know what this child is going to be. You also don't know how this child is going to, be brought up and act. And that's probably one of my biggest little contentions in here. Now, granted, we do see him being a good dad, so like that at least help you out a bit to where he's, because I've got, listen, I know people who are we'll just call them not the greatest of dads, and their child is older than this child and far less developed. So not all dads are built equal. So at least we see him being a good dad. I like that much. But we get to the point.
Name names, Portress. Who are you talking about? I'm kidding.
I was in a bookstore. I was in a bookstore yesterday where they had a hardcover children's book that said there are dads way worse than yours, and the cover was Darth slicing off Luke's hand. And I thought, man, I wish I'd bought this for my kids when they were younger, because it's just a bunch of pictures of dads that are worse than I am. So I liked it.
Yeah, I like that aspect of the movie though. Go ahead.
So there's a bunch of stuff happening in the background of this movie that because I was trying to figure out, okay, what is this movie about, right? And I could, and so this is one of the first times in a long time that I've watched something and I don't know what the people are trying to tell me. Mm-hmm. And it was weird because I'm pretty good at picking up subtext from movies, that sort of thing. And this is the first time in a long time where I don't know what they're trying to say to me. And so I looked it up because I wanted to see what Claire Denis was trying to say. And she says, what I'm trying to say is that everyone is awful. People are awful. Even in the future, people are awful. And I'm like, well, that's not much of a statement. I mean, if that's what you're trying to get across in your sci-fi movie, okay.
Here's what I took from it, basically along that vein, if you don't mind if I share here.
Please.
But there's sort of the back of the envelope, the cocktail napkin sketch. Like if you've only got a tiny bit of space to explain to people sort of genre tropes and speculative fiction in particular, like what's the difference between fantasy and sci-fi, because so much of it can overlap. Mm-hmm. Fantasy says that humans are awful and you've got to overcome that by being special. Sci-fi says that humanity or groups as a whole solve problems, and basically as a result, sci-fi tends to be more positive themed, fantasy tends to be more dark themed. And I think she set out to show no, technology and knowledge will never help us outgrow the animals that we are at our core, because in the future, this doesn't look any better than the present, because nothing made by something that at its root is a base creature can ever improve that base creature. That's what I think she was saying to us. That was just what I took away.
And you're right. I mean, that is what she's trying to say in this film, for sure. You're exactly right. But I thought there was more to it than that. And the reason being is because, like, deep in the background, I was like, I was like, I don't think anyone is alive back on Earth, right? And they kind of hint at it the whole time in the movie. right?
Well, here's part of the problem with that is that like, and they kind of explain it in the movie, but they don't make it wildly clear. But obviously, they are going through. They're getting to the speed of light, so
Right.
they're traveling at such a pace and everything. By the time that they are where they are, it's just like Inception, where that super amount of time has passed back there.
Yeah.
Right.
So any of their like communications and stuff, number one, it's going to take forever to get there. Number two, if they ever got it. Three, if they ever sent anything back, it would be impossible for us to get it. So, all intents and purposes, we are floating out here in space.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally agree with that about the the relativistic passage of time, where it's relative to how fast you're moving, and that's why there's that difference. But I kind of picked up on something when they showed I called it a non sequitur because it doesn't fit in anywhere other than I think it's a flashback, but it could be going on at the same time, just in a different place. But there's that Indian professor on the train who says there's still leopards on the street where I live. First off, I wondered where he lived because I know there aren't any leopards in India, but that's not my point here. But I think he was trying to say,
let that go. He cannot let that go.
Hey, it's my brand now. But anyway, what he's saying is, yes, we're screwed, but we're probably 100 years away from it being that bad. But we're sending these people out because we know it's going to take so much time to get that data back that when we finally are screwed. So I get the idea that maybe they're sort of sending mixed messages to the people they're sending out. But the idea is they're not going to do anything to help us. But by the time our grandkids are inheriting our money, they'll buy their starships and go away. But they want to make sure that, they're doing all the necessary tests.
I'll be right back, boys.
Can't.
They almost at this point, I would think, though, make it like the reason that they're sending them out is, for example, let's just say they're, like big-hearted people and just go like, listen, we can't send these people to death, but we can send them to space for experiments and stuff like that. And they claim that, we'll help this out, but essentially we're just sending hardened criminals into space. But we also send all of our rabid dogs into space as well, I guess. I don't know.
I really think what they're doing is sending expendable people to get it wrong until somebody accidentally gets it right. And then when it's our turn to go, we'll know how to do it safely.
Yeah, especially like once they get they send them to light space and everything like that. They're going at light speed and whatnot. It could just be to see like, hey, does this work? And then, they got to send something out there.
It's like sending the dog into space before you send the cosmonaut.
Yeah, exactly. These are just kind of
it was planned that the dog
cosmonauts.
Here's the dark part of that story is it was the USSR planned for the dog to die on reentry because they'd figure that part out later. They just wanted to make sure he could live in space. That was the sad part of that story. And that's what these prisoners are going to do. They fully expect these prisoners to either get sucked into the black hole and spaghettified, which was a lot cooler in the Loki show than it was in this movie, or they expect them to just die out there from radiation or God knows what. There is no return trip for these guys, is what they're telling us pretty early on.
Oh, yeah. And I at least like that they got that for us to really rid us of any idea that like somebody's coming for them, something, there's none of that. There's no, we might be saved by anything. They take that off the table right away, which is great because it just keeps you locked into where you are.
And, I do believe that a good movie should respect the intelligence of its audience. But I think in this case, maybe they overestimated me just a little bit because maybe I could have been spoon fed just a little bit more to know.
You wanted like the scene to turn green when it was like past times and then like yellow when it's new times. Or
I could have
maybe a little bug in the corner.
I could have used a tiny bit more exposition, but I'm also willing to admit that that's a me thing more necessarily than the movie thing. You guys,
what about like the Batman twirly thing, like where it goes? I
like that.
And that's when
But Bruce, you clearly understood what the filmmakers were trying to say. I didn't even get that part watching this. Like you knew the take of what they're trying to convey to you, whereas I was like, well, that can't be it.
Yeah,
it's got to be more to it than that.
And essentially, what I was sharing with Adam was just that I was a little bit. I sort of despised the movie for not giving me more details, even though what this movie was setting out to do involved not giving me more details. And some people love to go out curious and let your imagination fill in the blanks. And for a lot of movies I do, but this is one when I'm done with this movie, I am done with this movie. I'm not filling in any blanks. So I kind of wanted some more details, or I wanted a reveal of something or a twist of some sort, and just not having that left me feeling as empty as Robert Pattinson's expression at the end of the film.
Robert Pattinson was dead all along. That's what Bruce wants.
Well, I mean, only a French person would say, I love sci-fi films, but the problem is there's not enough human fluid.
Yeah,
and
more fluid, please.
We're gonna need a lot more human fluid. And damn it, Claire Denis, she pulled herself up by her French bootstraps and she said, "We're making that movie. And we're going to have a whole room dedicated to nothing but human fluid. And on top of that, we're going to have we're going to show in great detail how we clean that room," which I'm not going to lie to you, was a pretty good call on her part.
What do they do around here?
I had a little Kevin Smith flashback when they were cleaning that room.
Mm-hmm.
The worst job in the world there, Adam.
Mm-hmm.
The breast milk scene, can I just say that one grossed me out more than any other fluid scenes? Part of it's because Mia Goth's kind of weird enough that she might have really taken some hormones to make her lactate or something for the scene, because it looks pretty real. Did that one sit wrong with either of you, or am I just odd?
No, it's a weird scene.
Oh no, Bruce, it's comforting. What are you talking about?
It's a weird scene.
All I could think is if she were a braver filmmaker, she would have made that scene in 0G, so you have little blobs floating around.
I do like how they kind of just bullcrap. They gave us a thank you for smoking reasons.
Yeah.
So like, hey, they're doing other things to shut up, and that's why. That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's all you need. That's all you need.
I mean, that's a valid physics answer. I had no problem with that. That's the same reason that some hard sci-fi like The Expanse would give. Is they just match the acceleration of gravity and boom, there you go, and then you're weightless for a little bit when they have to change direction.
Let's talk a little bit about the design of the movie, because that's obviously a big portion of this thing, because it looks very unique. It's a low budget movie. It doesn't look like many a space movie you've ever seen before, outside of just the ship itself, the things that are inside the ship, but the costumes, like everything is kind of unique and very different.
Mm-hmm. Once you go down the timeline, I think that is that me?
I think that was me.
Not me.
Okay.
I wake up early usually. That's a dumb thing. Sorry.
Wow. When you're down the timeline a bit, when they've been in the ship for a long time, it does lend itself to some pretty great production design by the end, and especially with not just production design, but the costuming as well. When you see just how threadbare everything actually is by the end of this thing, when you're looking at the timeline, that works terrific in conveying time has lapsed and things like that. And just, like things aren't filthy and gross. They're just worn down. I thought that was a pretty good bit of production design.
I think that I liked most of that, because I'm picturing that this vessel is going to be some ugly geometric shape, and it makes sense that it would kind of look like this. And I don't think they're going to put too many amenities on a ship like this. And one of you had referenced Can Do. I think it was you, Sean, and I think that makes sense. Your budget goes further if you can do with some existing spaces and make them look like your ship and don't have to build from scratch. I don't know how much of that they did, but that's also possible. Because I know they shot like in Bulgaria. They shot I can't remember where else, but
this is on location in space. What are you talking about?
Oh, I'm sorry. That's the next Mission Impossible.
And you guys know I always ask this question when it comes to sci-fi movies. Did you believe they were in space?
The first time, I don't think I believed it. This time, I believed it a little bit more. Like, I again, presentation-wise, I saw more of the kind of the picture here and everything. And so while some stuff does look like a hospital with a couple of panels just slapped on the wall real fast, there are moments in stuff where you're just like, oh, this looks really cool and very interesting. It's like it's futuristic, it's throwback and everything. I like how like we don't even like really have an airlock room. We just push them out of a door. That's just something that's fun and funny about that at the same time too. I love little bits like that. And then again, like we previously said, her not writing everything out on paper for you and just letting you know everything. It's like, hey, we're going to look at this suit, and then we're having the flashbacks and everything. It's artsy fartsy, but like if you're down for it, you know, it's you might like it, but then again, you have to also be okay with all of the other, you know, horrid things that happen in the film as well. So
my answer to the question is I didn't really feel that much like it was in space. I would have liked for it to feel a little bit more claustrophobic. Things felt a little too open, and I can't help it. But the hard sci-fi part of my mind knows that every cubic centimeter represents a whole lot of money, and for a group of prisoners, they're going to give you as little space as possible, I would think. So it just, I don't know. It's a weird. I wish it had felt more like the ship from Alien, from the first Alien.
Oh, wow. I mean, man,
that's like, oh, if you got to play baseball, why not be Babe Ruth?
Right, exactly right.
Why not be the best that there ever was? Yeah, sure.
Exactly.
You know, your first game of T-ball was good, son, but I gotta say, I would have liked it better if you hit like 8 home runs.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time after 1977, Bruce is just going, "Why isn't this Star Wars?"
So, have you guys read any back matter about this film? Do you know anything about the behind the scenes on this?
I know a little bit of the fact that this is just Robert Pattinson's kind of doing it, everything. She'd had this idea for quite some time, and he had liked movies that she had done because, like, as much as, you know, everybody just likes to go, he's the vampire boy, I think he's actually quite the smart and well-versed kind of arty kid like that.
Oh, yeah.
So he had watched her movies and stuff before. He had heard about this idea and goes, "Oh, I'd like to do that, please. And my name's Robert Pattinson, so I can get you a little bit of bread."
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was cool.
The only production thing I read was some casting choices that I thought were pretty interesting, very different from Pattinson, but I can't remember the specifics on who they were. But that's about all I ran across.
So neither of you heard what happened at the Toronto Film Festival with this movie?
I
don't remember.
So it premieres at the Toronto Film Festival, right? And opening night, it's supposed to be the biggest night for this film in particular. Multiple walkouts. Lots of walkouts. Which I just found interesting that, like, if it was going to succeed, it might be at Toronto, right?
Yeah, I mean they're a little bit more alternative in their kind of taste and stuff over there. They still have a lot of traditional stuff, but Toronto is open to having stuff that's a little bit more of this ilk, if you will.
I mean, if it's good, I think that the Toronto film, like, going public, is way more open to stuff like this than even like Cannes is, and so to have TIFF have walkouts at like its big star-studded night, because there's like the stars are there, the director of the film is there, you know, like there's a lot of people involved with the movie, and there were some people who were like, no thank you, we're gone. I just found that so interesting.
I think that at TIFF they still have performative walkouts with things that they perceive as unnecessary violence against women. With a female director, that'd be a strange choice for them to do. But I think there are still some more like performative walkouts. Not that I'm really this disgusted, but I just don't want to endorse the film or something like that.
No,
but that might be more of a Cannes thing too.
But having a female director does make this feel a little less icky than it would if there was a dude that was behind it. That's for sure. Because while there is a lot of fluids and sexual stuff going on in this, it never is shot or feels like it's supposed to be titillating in any way, shape, or form. It's very
disappointing too.
It's sci-fi sex is what it is. Yeah. It's weird and it's strange. Future sex is always strange.
Yeah.
There's not a single sex scene where you wish you were involved. I'll leave it at that.
Right.
Yeah, no one's just going like, "Ooh, I wish I was in this scene." No.
So it's Patricia Arquette who is going to play the Juliette Binoche part.
Oh, wow, that's very different.
And it's our favorite excuse ever for why she couldn't do it. Scheduling conflicts. I mean, come on, man. It's the biggest lie in Hollywood, isn't it? More than anything else, if an actor was supposed to be in a thing and then the actor declines to be in the thing, it's always scheduling conflicts.
Shawnee, do you know nothing about the Orlando MegaCon?
I
Okay.
really don't.
We're pulling back on convention stories. We're pulling back.
This
Oh,
is just
shut up. That
convention
was
story
one.
1 this evening, sir. So that's okay.
That's
We're
where
okay.
I'm ending it. That was and it wasn't a story, it was a joke.
Oh.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool because I was at the High Life Con. No, back to the movie. Back to the movie, though. I think that no, I don't want to send any disrespect to Miss Arquette, but I think it's an upgrade for this particular film to have Juliette Binoche. Like there are other films that'd be better with Patricia Arquette, but that's the right choice for this movie. So that's one where the scheduling conflict is good.
Yeah, this is the most French movie ever. You've got to have at least a couple of French nationals in this thing. And so, yeah, it just makes sense to have Juliette Binoche in this thing.
Could you imagine Patricia Arquette doing her Miss What's-Her-Nose from Severance in
my
in
Lord.
this role? Could you imagine how bad that would make this role?
Oh, my Lord.
Oh.
All of the angry grunting that would happen on that box. No, thank you.
Oh. No. Let's I got to get this out of my head. I'm sorry.
Mia Goth's character...
Yeah,
Mia Goth's character, her character name was Electra. Did you guys pick up on that?
No. You can't. You don't know characters' names in this. What's Hats's name? That's about the only one you hear. But
is it Boyce?
It's Monty. So like even
Monty.
Then, yeah.
That's it. Like the Count of Monte Cristo reference. That's right.
Yeah.
No, I don't. I have no like reference to the amount of Count of Monte Cristo on that. But Electra, I do. Her character name was Electra.
Her name's Boyce.
Yeah, she's Boyce. Okay, I got confused then. There is a character named Electra, so that's why I thought Electra would have the child and it'd be some kind of Greek mythology reference. And I thought that was a drop thread, but now that I realize I confused the names, it wasn't so much a drop thread, just not the clearest of communication.
It's the black lady.
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
so yeah, Mia Goth had she was just kind of starting to kind of crest here and everything at this point. She'd done enough good stuff, obviously, previously to this because she did what you call it, the Cure for Wellness.
Was this before or after that Lars von Trier kind of thing she did with? I think it was Lars von Trier. Did she Nymphomaniac? I couldn't remember the name of it. Wasn't she?
I don't think she was. No, she wasn't in that. No.
Well, what did her and I thought her and Shia LaBeouf were in that. I must have the wrong movie.
No, you got the wrong one. She was in the Suspiria remake, which I actually thought was pretty awesome. Like that's just you want to talk about a good theater movie right there, booming soundtrack and everything. Lord have mercy, that was good. But yeah, it's like she was really starting to kind of get into her own here and everything. But I do like her. Like you don't know what country she's from. You really don't. When she's in this movie, you're just like, is she some girl from the South or something like that? And she is not. She is not. She's always playing that character though, where it's like, I'm just as dumb as a rock. And you're like, where are you from? Well,
that's a future accent. That's what people sound like in the future.
I just want future people with no eyebrows. That's where I always think it goes between Mia Goth and Whoopi Goldberg. Future, take your eyebrows out of the equation, boys. You don't need them. And me, I'm already halfway there, so you know how it is.
I was gonna say it's the future.
This is all good for me.
It's just natural human evolution. Less eyebrows means more beautiful face to enjoy for you, Adam.
Oh, that's how I'm gonna look at that one. I'm taking that and putting that one in my pocket for later. So let me ask you, gentlemen, this as two fathers and everything. How did you kind of see the child relationship and all that kind of stuff going on? Because I thought it interesting.
It seemed pretty superficial to me. I don't know. How did you feel, Sean?
It's left unanswered whether or not there is sexual activity happening between the two of them at the end of the film.
Right. And even the director herself kind of has implied that, that might be a possibility. I don't think that she's ever said anything, but she just goes like, hey, these things happen. And I'm just like, that sounds like Frenchie.
That never crossed my mind. Was that supposed to cross my mind?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
That scene where they're in the bed together and he's like, "You're too old. You're too old for this." It's not like
okay.
It's not awesome.
They're hinting. It's just like it's not the best.
It's there and it's not great. The other
man. It's like the European cut of the Professionals also got that gross ending, right?
Well, again, it's like it's there. I don't know what I haven't seen that one in a while, so I can't say to that one.
Because I think in the American release, that one doesn't really have an equivocal ending, but in the European release, it's left open-ended as to whether that relationship with the old man, what's his name, was more to it than meets the eye kind of thing.
The cut I saw, they opened up at McDonald's together. Is that different?
Hey. The other part too we're forgetting about him being a good father is that all of the work he's put in is completely betrayed by the fact that he's like, okay, so I'm going to make sure that she gets killed and then I'm going to kill myself. Like there's that whole moment, and it's sort of close to the beginning of the reveal that there's a baby there, right? It's pretty early on. It's after he tosses out all the other bodies into the deep vacuum of space. Then he has, that moment where he's speaking to himself. And by the way, as a mumbler, Robert Pattinson's mumbling very clear. Because he does mumble a lot in a lot of different roles. You can always tell what that old Robert Pattinson's saying when he's mumbling, and I appreciate that.
You know how like Eddie Murphy, Will Smith bring their own writers to projects? Well, Pattinson brings his own sound engineer so he can capture those mumbles. He's got a mumble phone.
Listen, he also, and I don't know from nothing, but he might just really also be very good at ADR as well. Some people suck at it. He may be really good at filling in those blanks and stuff and making them sound real good.
Let me ask you something. You think they're doing a ton of ADR? You think they're doing a ton of ADR on this thing?
Maybe not a ton.
I don't. I think there's very little ADR. I think they got a day in the studio for this thing.
Swipe it through real fast now. They're probably not. Like they're like, listen, we got one pass on the special effects and we're good. Okay, we're sending them out the door.
Right.
Yeah, that's what hyperspace looks like. Shut your mouth.
What was the budget on this? Do either of you guys know? I can't imagine it was a lot since it had to get distribution via the festival circuit.
About $176 million. I made
Whoa!
It all went to the creation of the Bang Box.
It says $8 million, but that's European dollars, so
euros. 8 million euros.
That's them
that's
funny
about
money.
what I
don't
imagined.
know. We'll call it a
well, no. If it was 8 million euros, that's close enough to $8 million. So that's about what I expected on this.
Let's call it 8 to 10. That's what it feels like. 8 to 10.
That's about what I expected on this. So I think she did a great job with that. Made it look good. I mean, I think she did a great job managing her money, not necessarily making me happy, but those are two different tasks.
Just ask his wife. All right, let's get to our final reviews here and everything. Bruce, what's your final star rating for High Life?
This isn't what I really want out of a sci-fi movie. Not necessarily what I want out of a movie in general. For me, it was kind of boring, and on top of that, a little unpleasant. So this is a 2-star movie. It's well put together. It's just not for me.
Fair enough. Sean.
We didn't even talk about the fact that Andre 3000 is in this movie. And, and it's that moment because you see his name come up at the beginning of the movie, while they're rolling credits. And you totally forget about it because this movie has a way of dulling you as you're watching it. And so when he shows up and you hear his voice first and he's like, hey, I'm out here in the greenhouse, the way he speaks in that really slow, like Savannah drawl that he has. Mm-hmm. And it makes a weird film even more uncanny that he's in it. And it was the moment where I realized that that Claire Denis is trying to make us off, like put us off guard, like trying to get us off a pace, if you will, of watching a film. You're not used to films that look like this, that are made like this, and it happens the second that Andre 3000 shows up. It was like, is that Andre 3000? Oh, right, he is in this. You know, it was one of those things.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like this film. I think it's an interesting film. But I would never recommend it to literally anyone. I can't think of anyone where I'm like, you know what, this is the perfect movie for you. I think it's interesting though, so I'm going to give it 2.5 stars, just because I think it's something where like it's fun to talk about with your buddies, but it's not fun to watch. 2.5 stars.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. It's funny. The director said that the reason that she wanted Andre 3000 in this movie was because she saw him as Jimi Hendrix. And I was like, she was the only person to see that movie.
Because she was the only one who cared enough to watch it.
I don't think I'm even aware of that movie.
Well, here's why you aren't, Bruce. Jimi Hendrix songs ain't in him.
Right.
So if you go to see a Jimi Hendrix song, don't you want to hear some Jimi Hendrix music? I know I do.
You know that whole running gag in 30 Rock where Jenna is going to be playing Janis Joplin, but they can't get any of the rights to the Janis Joplin music, and then it comes out later that they couldn't even get the rights to her name, and so she's got to play somebody that is a lot like her. And man, it just gets further and further down the rabbit hole. That's literally what that Jimi Hendrix movie was like.
I'm just doing a thing.
It's Janet Dunlop.
I'm gonna go just a solid 3 stars with this. I like the ambition of it. I like the kind of the way that it tells the story. It's not the funnest of things to watch. People getting sexually assaulted, physically assaulted, a whole bunch of fluids just going everywhere.
So many more fluids than you think. We've been mentioning fluids a lot on this episode.
There's a lot of fluid.
It's way more than you even think, and you probably already think there's a lot.
I think we can just say there's too many.
You know what, Bruce Leslie, I'm going to join that ship. Yes, too many fluids.
I will say this though, in comparison, I'll be able to dial you back a little bit. It's not the amount of fluids that you'll see in Brain Dead, Dead Alive. It's not that much fluid, so at least you got that going for you. Now, granted, that's a little over the top, but comparatively, not that bad. 3 stars
to that one film. Yes.
Outside of that, yeah, you're probably
if you can only watch one movie with too many fluids in it, don't let it be High Life.
Yeah. Yeah. If you're saving up, don't make it High Life.
Matt in the chat says we should have done silent running instead. Well, that is it, everybody. We got another one down here at Sean Love Spaceships Month, but I tell you what, it doesn't stop there, because here's what we're doing. We're going to go the opposite side of the spectrum. We are taking the pendulum and we are swinging it all the way over to the other end. This movie was all about weird space sex fluid stuff. This one's all about Muppets into space. Muppets from space, ladies and gentlemen. We are watching this next week. So we are going from the R-rated movie in the world to this has got to be G, right?
It has to be.
It is. I hope Johnzo didn't put one shit in there just for fun,
I feel like one of those old Scandinavian men that sits in the sauna, then jumps in the ice water, then sits in the sauna, then jumps in the ice water, going Galaxy Quest, High Life, back to Muppets in space. Is that what keeps me young? I'll go for it.
We're on the toes.
This is one of the best, like when you're rounding out a show, right? Like one of the things that people don't realize when you're making like a sketch comedy show or something like that is that you've got to kind of like space out what the sketches are, right?
Yeah.
And this month in particular, Portress has that feeling to it where it's like, okay, we know that Galaxy Quest is going to be like something to whet the appetite, right? Then you're going to go into High Life. No one's going to be happy. Everyone's miserable. Let's set everything on fire. Don't watch this movie if you're suicidal, by the way. That is for damn sure.
No, yeah. If you're lonely and sad and like no one else is around or anything else like that, this movie's not going to put you in that mood.
Then you follow that up with Muppets from Space. which, come on. I mean, talk about some counter programming.
Yeah.
That's how you do it right there, kids. That's how you do it. Just lovely, lovely, lovely. I'm looking forward to seeing Muppets from Space next week. I can't remember if I've seen it or not. Is that a good sign?
Probably not. Matt in the chat says, haven't seen Muppet for Space since it came out. I didn't care for it that much. I didn't care for Pepe the King Prawn at the time. I'm here to tell you right now, Pepe, one of my favorite new characters. I love that guy.
I love the bear.
He's always a little sexual.
I don't support the monarchy, so any king is no cool with me.
I think that the best new Muppet is that bear that's like, oh yeah, like
he's kind of like a sweet face.
He talks, he speaks, he has full range of vocabulary, but he's understated in everything he does is the best way I can describe it. He's usually wearing a suit for some reason, and he's always like, oh, I didn't care for that too much. Like
I don't think I know that character.
I got to look him up for next week. Love him.
Man, I'm behind the Muppet Times.
Wait a minute. Give me 1 second here. There's because I'll put this on the screen.
Nice.
We've got several different kinds of Muppets here. Hold on.
Oh,
apparently spyware. I don't know. This guy. No, wait, that's Baby Bear from Sesame Street. I just pulled up Bear. Is it Bobo? Bobo is a good one.
I can't see because everything's so small.
Wow,
there goes my accent. Yeah, that's him.
Yeah, I like this guy.
Yep.
That's a good one.
Yep. The police bear?
He's not always a policeman.
I like the puppet design. I think he looks cool.
He's an actor, Bruce.
I'm an actor.
He's a very good actor. He doesn't just play cops; he also plays businessmen, and he's always understated. And he always says stuff like, "Huh, didn't see that coming," like stuff like that. He's just the best. He's the best.
I like that guy. Then
me too.
Go check him out.
What's his name? Portress. What's his name?
It is Bobo.
Bobo. Nice.
Yeah, Bobo the bear. That's about
name.
as generic as you get there, but
it's a good bear name though. Bobo. Come on, it's good.
Alrighty, this will do it for the show. Bruce, promo some stuff here. What do you got for us?
Hey, it's September. Why don't you go check out Werewolf Fighter? Werewolf Fighter on YouTube. You just look for Bruce Leslie, Werewolf Fighter. Look for Werewolf Fighter, Anime Dad. There's so many ways to find it. But Werewolf Fighter, it's that time of year, and it has a very small Robert Pattinson cameo in it. So go watch it and then tell me in the comments if you spot the very tiny, quick Robert Pattinson cameo.
Robert Pattinson is about to get litigious, I'm thinking. Sean?
I am starting a new podcast where every day I watch High Life, and then I record my reaction day after day for 365 days. If I survive. It's called Sean Ain't Suicidal, and we'll see. We'll see over there. It's on you face. So go see that.
It's only available on Stitcher. That's
yes.
Nowhere else, just Stitcher.
Yes.
Is Stitcher still a thing? I don't know.
I'm bringing it back. It's kind of like the Howard Stern thing with XM Radio. It's the only reason why it's still around. And the only reason why Stitcher is still around so everybody could see Sean Ain't Suicidal every day.
Is the theme kind of like the MASH theme? Sean Ain't Suicidal.
That is exactly. You can't keep stealing ideas, Portress.
I can and I will, and I'll take every single one of them every time.
I'm calling my attorney. Hello?
Why don't you check out our YouTube page, everybody? We got a lot of stuff going on there. I just dropped my subwoofer history video. Very, very fun. I have my final review for the SVS 5000 Revolution coming up very soon, and there will be even more home theater stuff coming down the line very, very soon. I don't want to spoil too much of it very soon, but they're going to see so much more of that space. We are in subscriber September here, everybody, so help us do that. Almost 200 subscribers, like in the past week and everything. We're rocking and rolling, baby. So we appreciate all of that. Like and subscribe. Do all of those.
Almost what? 200 subscribers?
Yeah, in 1 week.
Oh wow, that's a big deal.
Yeah, we're
you,
rocking
everyone.
and rolling, man. We're doing some good stuff over here. So do
That's
all those
cool.
like, comments, subscribes, babies. We love you so much. Join us next week, everybody, when we're talking Muppets in Space. For Sweet Sean's and comebacks from the internet, Bruce Leslie, I'm Adam Portress, reminding you to go out and watch some movies and go to space.
Yeah, baby.